So I want to touch on composition. So composition in terms of getting our layouts and stuff as we ought to, as would help us to get a good laying out, try to use that word again, laying out of our element. And under composition, a main thing that helps with composition. I don't know if any of us has done, what is the name? Any of us have done visual art back in the day, but there is this particular topic that has to do with graphic design. Graphic design was one of our courses, especially in visual arts in SHS, that is secondary school. We're taught about the qualities of a good poster design, or even principles and elements of design. One of the principles of design is that there should be contrast. Contrast is one of the cool or the most surest way to achieve a very balanced composition. I think I will connect with this one. All right. So composition, and to get good composition, we need contrast. All right. We need contrast. A very good use of contrast helps us to establish a strong composition. So basically, we'll start with that tonight. Let me get. I want us to and with this also, the understanding of this is to help us to establish good visual hierarchy. Good visual hierarchy. I don't know how many of us have heard of visual hierarchy. Anyone? If you have heard of visual hierarchy?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have.
Okay, if you can help us with your understanding of it.
What you just did here is also a hierarchy. You've written composition boldly, and it's actually sort of, the fonts are a bit higher than that of the contrast. So when anybody looks at it, the first element they will see is the composition before they even look at the contrast. So in this case, you've created hierarchy.
Okay.
Where my eye will go to before it goes to the next one.
All right. So that's exactly what it is. So hierarchy is just positioning our elements to help lead the viewer's eye or our audience eye from where to where. If everything is the same, you may not know where to look at first. Let me try this and see how we may get this. So if we put in some such, let me bring it in. Let me put up something like this. So we have this. All right. So we have this. It's the same words flying through. And normally, if you have a format like this, you may not indeed not know where to start from. But let's say you enter into a place and all of a sudden you see something like this. And even let's help it a bit by increasing the size. To increase the size, I hope, let me share the shortcut in case you don't know. Control Shift, then you use the greater or lesser than signs. This sign, sorry, this sign. So to increase size in where if you don't want to go through going up to the font properties to increase the size, you can just do Control, then Shift, Control Shift plus the greater sign. This gives you an increase. If you use the sign, the other one gives you the decrease font. It decreases the font sizes. So back to what we are discussing. So we come to this and we see a composition like this. First of all, where your eye will lead to would be to where there's contrast. You would go to where there is an emphasis, there's a difference among the rest. It's not in the same pattern. So chances are that even if this was in a distance, you are going to notice that first. So most of the times, this is how I check for visual hierarchy in my work. When I'm done, after I've finished everything, at times is either I zoom out to a level like this to determine which I see first, then I know how to adjust my composition if it is not falling in line, or I come back to the full view and step back from the decks that I'm working at, and I look at the work and I try to see if there's any competition with any important element at all. So the idea is that you want to put the information that is needed, the necessary information, at a place where it can be easily recognized. If, let's say this work, let's imagine that this is a poster. If this poster is going to be posted on the side of the road where we are having people passing by, but we want people to have we want people to get the information on the billboard. You may have a number of information to share with the public, but the one that, let's say, is important, you would want to make sure that by hierarchy or applying contrast, you make sure that that one stands out, so that you would, even if the person is in a moving vehicle, if he or she is not able to get anything at all, the person is able to at least capture the main essence and move on. So with contrast, there is contrast can be applied to anything in our visual frame. It can be applied to the size, to the weight, to the value meaning what's the word? Value deals with the extent. Let me use this explanation, which, even though it isn't the best, the extent to which something is the colors of black and white are pronounced in a work. So what I mean by values is that, let me introduce this. So values, each and every one of this that we have here have the same value in terms of the intensity of the color of the black that we have. So if I want to differentiate in value, the thing that can be easily done is that I can just reduce the opacity of the remaining. So right now, they don't have the same value. Value defines how light or dark a given color is, how light or dark it is. So in this area, we have difference in contrast going on. And from time to time, I'll be pulling in resources so that we do something like case studies just to help us understand what we have. So contrast can be applied to value. So by changing the value levels, I've reduced the value level of the main one and the main small text, and still maintain a high value of the main one, which is contrast. I have maintained that one, and it's given us a form of general contrast between the smaller ones, the ones with the low values, and the one with the high values. So applying contrast in almost all these things helps us to establish a good form of composition that helps establish hierarchy. It also gives us movement. We can use this to establish movement, like hierarchy would help us to identify which important element comes, then which one next, and all that. We can simply use this to establish that kind of hierarchy. So I'll go online and I'll try and get some images to.
The deer is standing on a wall.
Okay.
And then the fox is looking at it. Maybe it wants to catch it or something.
Okay. Who else?
I think the deer is far from the dog.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, no problem. It's cool. They're all true. They're all true. And the main thing I wanted to highlight is the story aspect. That when they were on the same level, we couldn't tell any story. We couldn't tell who was doing what or what was doing who. But now we change the size, that is contrast. We change the values, that is contrast. And from that, you can be able to read meaning into it, that it appears as though the dog that we have in the foreground is somehow about sneaking on this guy. I don't know if you could tell that, or the size has to be increased a bit. It's as though he's targeting, he's encroaching on the deer small by small. Is you know the thing the lions do? They pass behind the wood, the trees, and they are just going around the prey. They are just doing their research, if I should use the word, before they actually attack. So by contrast, you can be able to make the storytelling or a story to be told out of what you are given. This is something used in filmmaking. In filmmaking, they use it in different aspects. And I'm sharing this so that in our projects, we can use it in different ways, if I should put here. Let me bring in this particular image. It's from a movie. And let me just open it on a new canvas. I just want to touch on all these things so that we see, get an idea of what's going on. Now, this is from a movie. I don't know if how many of us have watched Whiplash.
I have.
You have. All right. I love that movies. I like such movies. All right. So I want you guys to close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Please close your eyes. I'll ask you to open them. When you open them, please tell me the first thing that you see.
I saw the man who turned the back.
Okay.
To the camera. I don't know. I can't use my mouse to show you. Yeah.
This one. Sure.
Exactly. This is yes.
Okay.
The first thing I saw is this one.
All right. After him, who do you see? Or what after him?
The
what's
guy,
the next thing that,
where the light is, and the guy, I don't know whether he's opening a book or whether he's reading this or something. One? Yeah.
Okay. Then what else?
Maybe
I think.
Okay. All right.
And for me, the first person I saw was the man holding the book. Is it a book or something?
All right.
With a light on him.
Okay. Cool. All right. So that's what you saw. That's cool. So Holly is saying that she saw our guy over here first. And Danny said that he saw this guy first. All right. That will be true on based on different perspectives. You get it. But there's something intentional going on over here. Can anyone tell something about the color scheme going on here? Okay, so let me come in. But I hope you guys can hear me. All of us, you can hear me. Danny, Holly,
yeah, I can hear you.
I think Phil is dropped. Okay, so I don't know if anyone noticed the guy behind the drum. Sure. So there's an intentional thing going on here that is playing on visual hierarchy, that is playing especially on contrast. There's a contrast going on here, and the contrast is playing on the colors. Every color out in this frame is grayed out. It's only this aspect of the composition that has at least some live color inside, which is red. Every other color is like it's dead, grayed out, grayed out. I don't know if anyone is following, noticing it now.
Yeah. True.
And it is intentional. He is the main character. And so the understanding of this frame is to put the focus on him and not on the others. Also, if you look at his let me show us another composition thing. How many of us have heard of rule of thirds?
I have.
Okay. So if you have had experience in photography, videography, you would be playing more with this. It also comes in place also in design, because the principles there are, if you understand what is supposed to help you achieve, you know that it is needed in graphic design. People use it especially for logo designs, which we call the golden ratio. The golden ratio is like the higher version of the rule of thirds. Now, what rule of thirds states is that if you divide the screen or the composition into 3 equal halves, horizontally and vertically, you would have some intersections, and you can be able to use those intersections to position the right elements at those places. So let me explain that. So let's try and use our eye to gauge and divide this equally. The rule of thirds dictates that if you equally divide your frame into 3 equal halves, it's not perfectly divided here, but at least you get the idea. So what the law is, the rule of thirds is stating is that if you should divide your screen into 3 equal sections, so this second, 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. Then we have another 1, another 2, another this 1, 2, 3. So I think we can crop this particular, because with this one we are getting about four divisions. So let me see if we can crop it to help our studies. Okay. So it's a basic thing that I just want to illustrate to us. That sorry. So if we divide our screen, so normally this is how we'll have a 16:9 screen, our standard HD dimensions. What the rule is saying that if you should divide your screen into 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You are going to have points where they intersect, namely 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me not be biased. So now the understanding is that, and it has been proved, tried, and tested over centuries. So it's not a new thing. It has been there since the ages. The thing is that if you have any element that you want to draw attention, you have to position it in any of these intersection points. Automatically, whoever views it, that is where the eye will lead to first. Please, are we following?
Yes.
Or I should explain again?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Okay, you got it right.
Yes, please.
All right. So in this, let me try and see if you can get examples here. Good. Every professionally taken photography that you look and examine, you will see this play. Or simply put, any photography that you take and consider that, okay, maybe the picture got your attention, if you should investigate well why the picture got your attention, you will find out that it is as a result of this. And in movies, especially in movie production, this is highly played in every frame. That is why in interviews, in especially this TV presentation, especially when you look at this BBC their productions, you'll find out that the people are always sitting on either the left third of the frame or the right third. They are positioned that way. It has been proven and seen that it's psychological. It helps viewers. That is how we are somehow leaned towards. We tend to view those places more. So if you know that, like UI UX would help us in their principle of empathy, if you are able to empathize with your users and your audience, that this is how they see things, then you can rightly position your elements in these various areas to guide that is where their eye is going to look towards first. You get it? Let me share with us some examples, especially. Let's look at these guys. So in fact, let's use our own. Okay, they have their own. Our screen is not fully theirs, but let's bring it in here. Look at that. The reason why the image will be appealing to you, if you divide it well, you'll find out that it is following the rule of thirds. The image, the object of interest is placed on one of the intersection third. Okay, where this is perfect using the horizon and the landscape. That is a perfect, cut over there. And when you come from the vertical side, you find that that is also lining up in that same way. So this has been intentionally placed there, and your eye is naturally drawn towards that place. So it is good to place that there. If we should take our famous Joker. So the movie, every frame of the movie is actually dictated that this is where we are putting the thing, this is where we are putting the elements. And look at the color choice. The color choice is intentional as compared to the background. The background is of a gray, if I should use it, brown dead color, but he has a vibrant red and gold and even green on. Now, if you even take a closer look at these colors, triadic colors? These are triadic colors from the color wheel. They are a good combination. That triadic one, no, this will be triadic here. Triadic colors. So the costume, the color choice, where the element is going to be placed in this particular frame, everything was planned out. Every frame was planned out, and I'm sure most of us are aware of that. In the same way, if you even look at even this picture, as small as it is, your eye goes to that place. Your eye goes to that place. That is where it is meeting. Say that if you know these things, know that this is where your eye or the eyes of your viewers are naturally being drawn to. Then you easily situate your element, especially when you want to build hierarchy. You put all those elements at that point so that it helps in the natural flow of things. I'm trying to look for a particular work of mine that easily sells or shows this. I think the TNT. All right, so with this particular work, the main focus is, in terms of what I just shared, is where I place the pictures. It's where this works with other what's the name? Other composition. If your composition is in the square format, it still applies. It still applies there. So for me, I apply it for both landscape format like we have here, and also the square format as let me show you guys. Yeah, this. So I intentionally place the images in those elements. So if I should, it may not be perfect though, but if you should divide, let's use let's try and divide this. Okay, I already have my divisions already in terms of the margins and all that. So if I have this, I think we would need only, let me start with the top, dividing it into two equal part. Are we having an equal? Get it? So I think this would be, let me use the distance so that we see it more. So if I divide my stuff, I have my main image over here. On the right third, the element that is the main caption of the flyer. On also the left third, the intersection point. Then beneath, we have the main or other informations kind of hosting this part or playing out in this part. If we should take off this and we should try to look at it from afar, the first thing that comes or still stands out from afar is the picture. For me, I don't know if you guys would bear witness also. The picture stands out for me. Then I'm also seeing the block of text on the left side. Before I come to the bar, I'm seeing the bar there. So I'm seeing the picture stand out first. Then I'm noticing this coming here, in here, before my eye goes down here. I don't know if any of us can also bear witness that that's the same thing you are seeing.
Yeah.
So basically, in terms of working with composition, what I apply in compositing my design work, I take the principles from videography and even photography and I bring it here. Because even UI UX even uses it in their wireframing and laying out of the web. There's a particular place where the subscribe button is placed. Even when we look at something like our WhatsApp, when we type our messages, there's a place where the send button is placed. The send button, and even when you look at other or most applications now, if it is Gmail, what's the name, Snapchat, most of the apps, you find out that the send, most of them, I don't know if any happening now, most of them are centered or are placed at the lower right bottom of our screen. I hope you all can bear witness to that. WhatsApp, the send, if you type your message, the send icon, it is at your lower right. If you look at Twitter, Facebook, when you finish typing, the send button is always like 98% of apps have it at the right button. Why is that? So there are many reasons, but a main reason is that majority of people are right-handed. They are right-handed. Holding your phone, most people hold it with their right hand. And your right hand, it is easily accessible with your right thumb when you place it there. Imagine if the send button was at the left side of the screen and you are a right-handed person. You see the difficulty in reaching out there. So because they know and they understand this, they place the elements in the screen that we have where we can easily access it. So in making compositions with our designs, knowing especially the rule of text, I think is a great stepping stone. Applying it is great. And also understanding contrast. You can see also contrast being played in this particular work in terms of the size of, this one is a basic thing I'm sure many of us know so far. So what I want us to do from now is that I want us to design a flyer. Okay, right now, we are going to do it with me. Like, I'm going to do it and we are going to, be on board from scratch. So I have two in mind that we are going to redo. Either this one that you are seeing or this. for genuine, to get something more genuine, let's make it, or let's call it faithfulness. Faithfulness. So let's say faithfulness. Okay. Faithfulness conference. Faithfulness conference. Faithfulness conference. So for me, going back to what I shared with us at the beginning, faithfulness, what comes to mind? Faithfulness. Fairness to me, I'm seeing something fire. I'm seeing something fire. Seeing something fire. Faithfulness. So the idea and the concept coming to mind is like this kind of energy boosting kind of gathering that is going to happen. Faithfulness, this kind of energizing, energetic. It's almost like you're coming to power up. A kind of, you're coming to boost our, I don't want to use the word faith, but for lack of better words, boost our faith. You're coming to a place where we want to boost our faith. Okay. So at least with that, I'm getting some, at least I think I can stand on that to generate some thoughts. Let's say I'm seeing fire. Of course, there should be some representation of some fiery elements. Faith as well is there. For me, I think my main highlight would be on the furnace. Faith. What can I use to represent faith? What can I use to represent faith? What can I use to represent faith? Faith is like someone is charged up, charging up kind of a thing. Okay, charging up. All right. So let's see how best we can bring in or make up this. With most of us, I'm sure with what we have studied so far, or our experience so far, we start with the background. I think many of us said that the other time. Our time seems to be running. How many minutes? We have 9 minutes, so that's basically 10 minutes. First of all, for me, I start to lay out the typography before I consider or worry myself about what's the name, the background and all that. That's for me because I don't have qualms with background. My main thing is the information. Most of the times, the way I start is this how I started. I make sure that I get a blank page so that my focus is not on the effects. I work on getting a solid layout composition before I add those things at the background. So for this, I would want to work with typography first. And I want to make sure that the typography is appropriate for the kind of design, the kind of program and message that is supposed to be communicated. Faith kind of have this kind of, it's not really elegant and it's not really also that kind. Faith is bold, of course. Faith is bold. And looking at the style that I'm having in mind, faith, if you look at the previous one that I showed us, the inspiration behind this is to have that kind of script form, those biblical kind of script style. That is what inspired that particular thing. But with this, I want to make it more a bit ancient and a bit also elegant. A bit ancient and a bit elegant. So I can look through my I have font, but I don't really use. We designers, you only need. We have a lot. Let me extend this to get more great view for my other. We have fonts, but we don't use them. We have many of them. So let me see if I can get Cinzel. This number, let me try the bold. This is not bad. But let me try another. Yeah, this should be what I used for the flyer for the masterclass. It's called Gattentem. Gangitem, sorry, Gangitem. I hope you guys can hear.
I can hear you.
Right. I don't like this one. Well, let me just go straight to, I think I have a particular font that is, what's the name of this guy? I worked on a company project and this is the custom font that we used. And I think I like it. Savage here. I think I like the smaller version. And okay, there's this rule, I'm sure many of us have heard of it, that most of the times when you're working with fonts, you have some kind of limitation. Okay, it's a rule though, so not really a limitation, but it is advisable that you use at least 2 fonts. And if anything, you want to go on beyond, it shouldn't exceed 3. It shouldn't exceed 3. Personally, I keep to that particular rule ever since. And I really don't see I've not come in a place where I want to use all manner of fonts. Okay. I've not come to that place where I need to, and I don't even want to do that. It's not the kind of design thing that I want to do. Those are the choppers are doing it, and I don't want to do that. All right. There are some notes on what's the name? There are some notes on typography that are in the PowerPoint, or should be in the PowerPoint, that I can share with us on how to use fonts, the rules, some few rules about fonts and all that. So more of the attention I try to lay on getting this foundation for the text really solid, the information layout really solid as much as possible. All right, so I think for me, this should be okay to start with. We can later come back to it. So with this, I have set most of in fact, all the fonts that I have used over here. I've used so far 2 fonts, Montserrat and the other one, and should I share it? It's Lexoren. Lexoren is also a nice font that I encountered not so long ago. I think for the project that we are working on, it fits, so I just love to keep it. So with what we have right now, I've given emphasis to the main message, which is fit finance. And we have the conference, of course. Conferences is the main thing. It's a cliche thing, or honor, but this is the new thing. This is the message that is supposed to be shared across, that we are building some kind of, this is the main thing, actually. This is the main thing, and you want to be on board and be a part of this, right? Let me steal some information from the other designs. So like I said the previous time, I always like to have my stuff arranged after I finished it. So backgrounds go to BGM, fonts go to text, images, I just book all those things. So that in such cases like this, I can just pick the folder and we move. Oh, come on, I didn't bring the okay. And what do we have as our time? Let's say we have our time 8 a.m. from most of the time they don't give me that, but I bring it on to balance the what I want to, the what's the name, the layout composition, the layout of the text actually. So first, let me format this. So the main place is Mercy Rock Temple. These are the subsequent informations which are sometimes really not needed. So first of all, I reduce the size of that, then I scale out or value out. If I can use mostly the, let me see, my screen space is not enough. So I bring in the least contrast. At least, thank God, that's the benefit of getting, if you are getting a font, you get the font family. You bring in the font family. For such fonts like Montserrat, Poppins, all this Nexa and all that, you can be able to get the entire font family when you go to Google Fonts. So yeah, for that one. So I think the informations are okay. This which other information is needed to be brought on? I don't think it's needed. So first of all, let me just,
the pastor's name.
Okay, so in phone and we had it. When we bring his image and we'll find it on.
Sure, sure, sure.
So let me give I don't want to do that. So okay. So we learned something. So okay, I didn't mention that white space. We know of white space, right? Hello. I hope we are familiar with white space, using white space, and I use it a lot, especially for my margins. Okay, I use white space a lot. I like to get white space in my edge margins. Now, with this particular thing that we have over here, the Mercy Rock Temple, which is the venue, is and Pupupu at Kaswa they're all the same. They're talking about the venue. But if you leave them like this, of course, in our mind, we may be able to read it, but design-wise, it's not really appropriate because they are being treated as, if you leave them with this kind of equal white spaces, they are going to be interpreted as different elements. White space would white space, of course, in explanation, is the negative spaces between elements in a work. The more closer some elements are, the more our mind perceive them to be related. You get it? So if I have this at this point of the design so close to that, if were it not for the size that I reduce, and even though I reduced it, the mind or design-wise, it would be considered as the same thing, like a paragraph. Paragraphs are supposed to host ideas. So paragraph one, although we are talking about one general thing, paragraph one has to talk about is focusing on a particular is a topic. Let me use the word topic of that whole idea. Sorry, not is focusing on an idea of the whole topic we are writing about. Let's say we are writing about myself. Paragraph one could be dedicated to talking about your head. Paragraph two could be dedicated to talking about, let's say, your torso coming down. Paragraph three can be dedicated to talking about, let's say, your likes, your dislikes. So each and every paragraph is having distinct units of ideas that are helping to tell the whole story well. So it helps in organization, presentation, and that, and so on and so forth. So in that same light also, with white spacing, the more closer elements are to themselves, the more they are perceived to be the same, or the more they are perceived to be interrelated in terms of meaning. But if we should separate them, then they begin to read as different or separate forms or blocks of information. ATM, you should come somewhere. Most of the time, I try to maintain that kind of block line up, okay, that if the information is in this way, we are having everything fully in that, is falling in that kind of, I hope you get me. So most of the times, what I do is I introduce the time over there. Most of the times, most of the design elements that I come, I just introduce them there. And it helps me to achieve that kind of, either it goes in the swaying, it goes in, it's either it's going in that way, in a V-shaped way, or it's in the block sense as in straight edges over them. But most of the time, the idea is just to make sure that it's intentionally being worked on. So, and the reading of the information, if I read the date talks about the day. Of course, day is also talking about time. So I find it easy and kind of meaningful to add the day and the time to it. Most of the time also, if the information is too scanty going about, I just take out 2023 because except I analyze the situation and I see that, okay, this could lead to miscommunication. Let's say you're about having a program in December. If you are sending out the flyer, it could be for January. So you may want to consider that if I'm in April and I'm designing a flyer, if I take out 2023, you're not expecting it to come. The program should be in the next, but not to take things for granted. If I should happen to take such an element out, I find a way of putting it somewhere in the work, either in the corners. I do that most of the time. Anyway, let's go to our fairness. I don't know, but I just foresee that Nexa would help in this. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm liking Nexa. I like the way Nexa is presenting its fonts, especially on this particular information. Let me even out the spacing for now. Okay. Fonts is spoiling. That wouldn't be so suitable. Link code would be. Want to put working on the background. So for let me see, with what we have in mind so far. Faithfulness. Okay. So ahead of time, I was able to get some image from what's the name? From AI Midjourney, yeah, Midjourney, and I want to use that, especially. I want to see if we'll be able to employ that in this particular composition. So let me bring that image on board. So I created this in Midjourney. I described it and all that. So we have this kind of like a torch, you get it? And the torch is, of course, it kind of speaks to that kind of keep the fire flame, keep the faith burning, that kind of a thing. Okay. So I would like to use this in my composition as well. I think and this is just to save time. If it was on my own, I'm starting it really afresh, I would go to the internet, like I showed us, and search for the images that would help me communicate or create the kind of background that I want to create for this. There's one also, a common one that I normally use is links throughout most of the designs that I do. I like the effect of it. I've forgotten the word phrase in Google, how I type to get it, that kind of background. But an example is kind of this. Freeze up, freeze up, freeze up. Which one else can we use? Maybe we can use this. Let me go and see. I'm going to Google now. And let me bring us on board on that one, since it's a new thing. So I'm going to so this is an image that I've been familiar with for years. So because of my taste, because I keep it high. And most of the time, it's not all images. This image is funny. Then if you guys are seeing it, the sound effect.
Yeah. I don't know whether it is rolling or it is laughing or.
This is funny. This is cool. This is cool. This is cool. This is definitely AI produced. I think I like also this what I'm seeing. But let me save this one just in case it comes in handy. Black and white. So let me start my chat on AI. I think I mentioned one tip earlier on. So I think I can mention the next tip also. So this is where AI becomes useful. Okay, because Google is a repository of all the images that we could have, that are already there. But the way you wanted an image for the current work, you may not have it like that. So you can go to, for what I do or would do in such a scenario, is that I would go to, what's the name, the AI platform, and actually type out or create what I want based on the prompt. And in my typing out of the prompts, I really type it out. I go down to the specifics. I tell the camera angle, the camera focal length, depth of field, rim light, everything. I create the image like I would have if let's say I'm doing it in 3D, or I am actually what's the name? Actually going to take a photo shoot of it. If I'm using this, then I don't think I would use the touch. Not at all.
Well, the touch is nice, man.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Then in when you go to especially storytelling and all that, when they are at the pre-production stage, there's something they call killing your babies. You could produce something that is really awesome and cool, but if you are really objective, and you see that this thing is not going to help, adding it doesn't really add to it like that much. So you just have to drop it. Yeah, typing out the whole
Well, how
sentence.
do you get them, though? How do you get them?
This particular image was from Google. It was downloaded. It was luckily on Google. So that gave us, that was really cool. That was really cool. So when I'm playing with these images, I try to get them to soak in the background. So I normally use either overlay or we use the other one, overlay or luminosity. Overlay or luminosity. That helps in my blending. So of course you have to hide some elements in the background. I like to bring in a globe kind of effect. It's a conference, so I just want to give it that kind of it's on the world kind of. Let me go to Google and see if I close this. For the trend. B. Okay, let me down. No way, maybe this is for. Complete my marks, and with the knowledge that I shared, just try and create a scenario for a blend. What I'm doing, I'm just laying out the images that I have, gathered and collected. Then we'll later move on to the blend. And let me see. Now this guy, okay, I think we may have to do with this guy. You can see. But let me see if I can take out. So one of the ways you can select these things, I want to see if I could take the brown out, but I guess my strong bet that is going to affect this because this is also brown. So but let me try all the same. So I go to color range, which is helpful for selecting colors. Let's see. So sample color, that not bad one there. So I use that to sample the color I want, and it's selected it. So with this, I can show how much it should tolerate or should bleed into that color or not. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go to maybe something almost like that. Hopefully. I said that to give us and let's see if I can use answer. So I've inverted my selection. So holding down Alt, I click on my create max or add a layer max, and it takes out the max. So right now we have an inverted max, so I can just go and Control I, or selecting the max, Control I turn it, and at least not too bad for a starter. So I can come in then and see if I can use my brush to bring out the places that would be of maybe use or something like that. So I'm just plotting my elements. I think I like the idea of this coming behind the globe so that it becomes like faith furnace. Okay, works. It works. The idea works. We have this in the background. Let me do this manually. Create a new max on this. I hope you're following. There's a good advantage I'm seeing at this point over here. There's a strong advantage I'm seeing here. So the advantage I'm seeing is that I can just colorize this to at right here. So what I will do is that I will just make sure I fill up the space well. Go to the adjustment layer, go to hue saturation. All right, hue saturation. Hue saturation. Over here, I get my color colorized, or the overall thing colorized. So I just click on colorized and I have a general color overlook. So I'll first play with the, what's the name? The saturation. And I think I like the cyan kind of thing that I was doing. Let me change the blend mode of this and see. It's almost a bluish thing. So I'm trying to make sure that I just mimic this kind of color read overall this. I think Vanessa dropped off. Not even look, I'll see you look at that. So let me bring on board our image, this one, which is behind, that. Bring it on board. See how it blends. I don't like this screen. I don't like overlay. It's too big. I come back to that later. So I like the colors of this going on. So I can use my layer max to clean out the part that I don't want to see and review some of the things that I want to see, which is the color. So I just carefully do that. Know something about this fantasy color, so you just take advantage. What we do. Right, by keeping. Please, if there's any question, please ask if there's any question. If there's any question on this point. So what I've done here is that I've created a gradient layer. And this layer, I have put it in between the globe layer and that of the ones behind, which is the fire furnace and this also. So this is the purpose of doing this is to make up for this differentiation thing that we are seeing over here. So I like to duplicate this and have an effect of it on the globe and see how that will also pick up. Color is not too much furnace, so we need something energy. Something energy. So I can easily go and see if I can make do with that. So right now I'm using the brush tool to create some light burst. I'll turn it to, let's see, overlay. I'll duplicate it, spread some around. Let me reduce this one a bit. I like to reduce this, the touch. Seeing something beautiful behind there, I like. If I can take advantage of it. So most of the times, this is how I pay attention to the stuffs that are forming around, and I capitalize on them. So let me see if that is the case. Then take you back and see if you would blend with. Okay. Then still working out. Let me use the other icons that we got on the other images for our lion. See if they also pull something different for us. This wouldn't happen yet. Let me focus on. Please, if there are any questions or you have, yeah. So right, let's go over what we did so far. So we started with the theme of our imaginary program. Possibly someone may organize it. Maybe I might end up organizing it. So we decided to make something for Free Finance Conference. And we decided to make sure that we touch on, in making a flyer, we tried to make use of the things that we have discussed so far. Just also to hint that, of course, when we come to especially the creative space, we are mostly told that we are supposed to learn and know the rules so that we may be able to know how to break them. So that has been the subtle encouragement. Sorry. We started by bringing in images in the workspace. We came up with some few images that I had already in stock. We went out to Google to get this globe image. This I had already. I created it from Midjourney. It has to do with a torch with some kind of mystical flame in it. And we brought in some texture picture as well, which we brought in to help the contrast of the work. because if you take it out, it makes the work looks light, like it's low on contrast. It's not really the need. There's a need that there should be an introduction of some level of contrast. So that's why we brought in this particular textured background, and we worked on the hue and saturation, which helps us to give a grade, a color grade, if I should use the word. So let me turn it off so you can see. So initially, this was what, so this is the background. Okay, this is if I take it off, you have the black because this is black. Now we put a background of kind of orange. We want to work towards the color and the theme of the conference or the design that we're working on. So that's how come we introduce that. Moving on, we introduced this hue saturation layer where we went to colorize. We selected colorize. If colorize were not checked, it would have looked something else. Please, with this particular image, we got it with the intention that we will use it to evoke an emotion, you know, to bring up some kind of charging up to the theme. And we got other images too along. Let me see. I think along the way we deleted some of them because we saw that it was we may not use them. We got a variety of lion pictures. So this was also part, but up to the point we got to, we did not use them. So we would proceed on from there. So with this, having our background already created, we went on to change the blend mode, I think, to either soft or overlay. Let's using one of these.
I think it was soft light too.
I think I'm liking overlay now. Then we tried layering what we have. We brought a globe picture from Google. So this is to help create that kind of idea of a the whole thing is a gathering, and I'm just having this kind of perception of, making it this kind of bringing this euphoria of, something big happening, something big really happening. So that's one thing. That's why I'm going in for the globe. So that is what is empowering me or making me go in for this particular image. So this was gotten for Google, like I said. So with that, we brought it in and laid it on top of the image. And with our layer marks, we decided to start in some rough blending. So currently I would reduce my brush opacity to 25, which I normally use. In terms, well, to begin with, at this particular point, it's not closer to the main subject, so I can just go hard on something like 80, 88. By getting closer, I will change it to 25, just to be careful not to take out some of the things that is needful. So far, just by doing that, we have our background and the globe already created. Now they are in two different colors. So in our bid to make sure that there's some kind of unison going on, we can. The main aim would be to make sure that you bring on board something that would help merge or put their color together in one space. So one of the options which we used was we brought in the hue saturation. You can find it when you click on the the adjustment layer icon down here, or if you go to the panels on the right side, adjustments, you click on adjust hue saturation, you'll be able to get this particular layer. So we brought it on, and we brought it on. I think I've taken out this. Not even seeing the current effect. Okay, yeah, I turned off the. Okay, so this is good, so that at least you get a fresh idea of what we did. So we brought in the let me delete this. We brought in the hue and saturation layer, and to make sure that we get a good good color feel, color overlay of what we have, we will check colorize. We will check colorize. If we use any of this without colorize being checked, it will just go on, playing with the colors in some funny ways. Okay, but if you check in colorize, it gives it a general overview. It covers the whole thing. I hope we are following up to this point. I think a thing also that we can do is that to make sure that this is kind of in uniform form, we can look at making sure that this picture also loses some of the colors that are not helping. For instance, I'm still seeing the blue trying to, pop in through some of the images. Somewhere like here, you are still seeing some of the blues. So selecting the image, I hit on Control U to bring the hue and saturation property of this particular layer, only this layer, right? With that same understanding of the colorize, if I go on just to play with the hue, it would do its work magic. But in this case, it would play out well because it is only affecting this particular color. And currently, I'm seeing something nice also that I would want to lean in. I just switched. I went into the green areas and I'm seeing something interesting over here that I think I can glean on a bit. So, like I said, we may change direction when we go down this path. So let's see what we are getting. Let me turn off this colorized layer and see. I think I'm liking that green. It blends the
Your
color.
line is breaking.
Oh.
Hello, Eben, please, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so please, when you scroll down, can you please scroll down on the layers? I want to show you something. Where the color fill is, where the color fill is, and you added an orange color.
Yeah.
Please, can you just tell us how you brought it, and what is the effect of it? Because I think that one skipped me.
Okay, so this is what is given in the orange film. This
Okay.
is currently serving as the background color.
Okay, so how come you masked it with white, and why they need to mask it with white? Because if you just drop it there.
All right. So with color fill, if you should create any color fill, it comes with its own layer mask. Are you following? So right now the orange is off, and we have only the white. So any color, when you go down to the adjustment layers, color fill layer, that's how the color fill layer works. Any color fill layer, including even gradient, and most of these layer types, the adjustment layers, most of them, in fact, if I can say strongly, all of them, if you should click on all of them, they come with their own layer, their own max layer.
Mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, let me go to the solid color. If I should select the solid color, it creates a solid layer, comes with its marks, and gives me a pop-up to choose my color.
Oh, okay.
So it comes on its own, like So with that's how come this came up, and we selected the orange color because we wanted to tie it with the theme fire, furnace fire, kind of thing. Yeah. So currently the marks here is not having any effect. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This thing has really bothered me. I'm telling you. I was
because,
so
go on.
What is the white doing there? Like really, I understand masking though. I just didn't get, just looking at it on a
Can you come in again? I think the line is fidgeting.
Surface value. I really didn't get it. But thank you for explaining that. I think I get it now.
You mentioned it. So I think the understanding is that you may, because it is an adjustment layer, you may be doing some kind of adjustment, so you may need to use it. So it, they just empathize with designers and created it along. So we all know that with Max, white reveals, black hides. So now that it's on white, it's revealing everything. So now if I fill this layer Max right now with black, it hides the effect of the orange. If I should fill it in with white again, it reveals the effect. So in the same way, you can play with this, that I can hide a part of this orange color. So with my brush selected on the color black, I can go, let me pimp up my opacity of the brush and hide this part on the color.
Okay. So it is this orange that is giving that pattern, that's like a coral shape pattern. It is the orange that is giving it its color, right?
Yes, because of the blend mode that we set that
you set
pattern
overlay.
Yeah, so I'll come to that. I'll come back to that to explain. So an advantage of this, what we have here currently, is that I can go beneath this orange layer, go and create a new color layer and fill it with a different color, and it will have effect. It will show behind.
Oh, okay. This is going to help a lot. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So because I've hidden this part of the top layer, it gives access to see this part to now see this color. So now if you have your brush layer, you can reduce your opacity to about, let's say, 25, like I always use, and feather it so that the blend works. Get it? So there are many ways of playing about these things. Let me turn it down in this. And you can play with it in cool, very cool ways, get many effects. So let me delete this one and fill this all with white again. So now, actually, this is how it's supposed to look.
What shortcut do you use to fill all it with white again?
So I'm using the colors that are available in the what's the name? The color what's the name of these guys? The foreground and the background color.
In the background.
Now, yes. So the trick is that Control-Alt would pick any color that is in the foreground color. So let me just take time to show you. So this color, where white is currently now, that is the foreground. Yeah. So where white is now, that is the foreground color. That is the foreground color. Where the black is currently, that is the background color. Now, the foreground color has its shortcut Control-Alt. So any color in the foreground color, any color that you have currently selected or that is in this box, the foreground color, the moment you press Control-Alt, it will take the color that is in the foreground and apply it. Let me demonstrate. So let me create an empty layer. Now let's change the colors to different things. Let's say red and blue. Now I have my red in the foreground color and I have the blue in the background color. Now, any color, to access the color in the foreground color, you just have to hit on Control-Alt. Sorry, not Control-Alt. It's Alt backspace. We'll do that. Coming to explain it, I'm now getting Alt backspace will give you any color in the foreground. Okay.
Okay.
Alt backspace will do that. And control backspace will do that for the background color.
Okay.
So when you hit D, D will give you the default colors, black and white. Yeah. And black is currently in the top. What's the name? In the top, in the foreground color. So to access that, just hit Alt backspace, and it gives me the color in that particular. Yeah. Control backspace will give me the other color in the background section. Yeah. I can switch the colors by hitting on the X key. Sure, you are familiar with this. So X will just switch the colors and we play like that. All right, so we brought in this image, and this is the full complement of, let me turn off these things. So this is the image that we brought on board, and we attempted cleaning the bottom, but because of this, let me take out. So we cleaned the bottom with our marks. We took it off, and we brought on top the image of the globe. Now, this, I don't use this pattern images in this particular form like that. Like, it's too raw for me. I want it to feed into the element or the work I'm creating. So normally I change the blend mode so that it will blend with whatever is beneath it. So beneath the image, the only thing that is currently on is the orange color layer, which we have from the color film. So if I switch the blend modes, we choose soft light. So when you go on, you can find many different forms of blending options, but we chose soft light. Now, when we did that, we took the step further. I think I should bring back our overlay, hue saturation, orange overlay, to make sure everything is one scale. Let's go back to the image and select or open, double click to open its hue and saturation property, just to deal with the blues that we are seeing. Possibly we may need the blues there, but let's see. So I just turned on colorize. Colorize applies. It takes over every color space that is visible. So when you go up here, you can do the saturation, and you can also increase the lightness of it. But I think where it is okay. I think we can just move this up a bit. So that's okay for now. If anything, you can come back to doing our adjustments. So we wanted to create some highlights because looking at the whole thing is kind of dead. There's no place where you can show the form of it. It's currently like 2D right now. So with the help of some lighting effects, which I created using the brush, so let me just demonstrate only one, then I'll turn on the other. So I select my brush tool, turn my color to white because white works well with overlay in such cases. My opacity is on 100 and I click. That is okay. I switch my blend mode to overlay. Now, sorry, overlay. Yeah. So with this, I can just scale it up and position it where I want. So you see the beauty it is bringing just by that. So that's how we did for these other ones over here. We duplicated them and positioned them where they'll fit best and help the composition. So basically that's what we did. So by introducing these forms of lighting, we kind of give it this kind of we are raising it from the flat dimension that it was to a different plane now. All right. So going on, we decided that we introduce Okay, I think it was later on that we brought in the textured background, but I think since we found the use of it earlier on, it is still good that we bring it now. So the texture background is to help us get something that is more of to get a contrast stuff coming up. Happy incidents. So currently we have this going on, and it's a pretty cool effect that we are getting. But anyway, so this is the texture picture that we brought in. If you go to Google, you can be able to get it. Just type photography backdrop, textured backdrop. You get stuff like this. So that's what we brought in, and we switched the blend mode from its current position, which is normal. We switched it from normal. My mouse what I wanted. So it was first on normal, then we switched it to overlay. It was overlay we switched it to. To be frank, I really love this effect going on here. It gives me some kind of good feel. I would want to make sure I bring that out. So I'll just go onto this layer and introduce a max layer, adjustment max layer, get my brush, get on my color black, then I'll try and reduce the opacity small because a sharp cleaning of this would make the difference not too good. So I'll just reduce it to about, let's say 38 and try and see if I can bring that out here. I like that. Bring that out. So let's move on from there.
Okay, so that's brightness there. You use a brush of white and you change the blending mode to overlay and then you just stretched it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That was all.
Okay.
All right. So from there, I think we moved on to what we did was that we duplicated the texture layer. We duplicated the texture layer. And the reason why we duplicated it was because we are seeing that the texture was affecting only this side coming, but it didn't affect, or it's not affecting the globe. So you want to create another texture layer on top of the globe layer because the globe layer is above the texture. It is somewhere up here. Where's the globe? Yeah, this is the globe. And the texture is beneath. So if we want to have this texture affecting the globe here on top so that you have a uniform texture feel over all these things, then what you can easily do is that you can duplicate. So you duplicate Control J, duplicate the layer, and you take it up on top of the globe layer so it somehow also affects. So you get that kind of unism going on. But this part is, if I'm speaking in simple terms, the globe side has one feel of this texture area, but this top part where we have the pattern going on has a double feel because we are repeating what has been shown there twice. I don't know if I get So just to make it even out, I can still make use of the layer with my brush and just take out that part. Let me increase it. Take it 100 to just get rid of everything. So let me just get out of it. So, okay, possibly you may want to reduce the opacity a bit. All right. So one thing that with the one we did initially, we didn't even do it to apply this. We brought it in to do something new. So that was what this here was for. Let me maintain you here. So yesterday when we duplicated the layer, what we did was that we entered into the hue and saturation property of this particular layer by hitting on Control U, and we went to the colorize option. So let me turn on. So it's currently on. When we went to the hue and saturation, we went to colorize and we turned the dial of the hue to green. So the green affected everything within the layer. So we made it a green texture background instead of the brown that we know. And we used it to review a part of the work that we had. I think we first created this. We created this hue. Just a minute. We brought this guy up. Let me tell you okay. Yeah. So this had that kind of greenish hue. Okay, I think because we cleaned this part, let me turn it off. Yeah. It didn't show much. So, yeah. So
let
please,
me try. So
yes.
Okay, so on the that green backdrop, when you come down below, come down below just one step down. This one. So did you use the solid color, or did you use a brush, or how did you get this?
This one.
Yes, please.
Okay, let me recreate it afresh. So that is a gradient. So when you come to a gradient, the adjustment layers.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So when you come down to the adjustment layers, you are able to get the gradient. When you select the gradient, creates this. Are you currently seeing the gradient?
Yes.
The white gradient.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with this, I created that and I came here and worked on the color. So over here, I selected this color. That was what I selected. And I took out the white from it. So that it's just one color thing. And I changed the angle a bit.
Oh, okay, I see.
So with this one, because of the lightness of the color, it's not bringing out the details from the behind. So I want to see if I can get something a bit darker to bring out some of the information behind. Yeah. So of course, we cannot stick to what we want or what we started with. Let's see if we can get something interesting. Let's stick with this guy for now. This one is making it look so dark. Obvious. I think initially we even made it radar. I reverse it. So this, I can now increase the scale and redirect where I want it to go. So you can still use the linear, reverse it back to its place and reduce the scale. All right, so let's have that going. And let me review more of this. Not getting me what I want. Maybe I might have to do away with that and work on getting good saturation. Okay, not bad. So I think that would be cool for now. I'm still, the contrast level is too low for me as of now, but we'll progress and later on come and work on that, on these things. So I think from here we started, we have opportunity to still build our play with what we want to do now. I think this should be our text here. So those who were not with us yesterday, so we had a text created, which was this, and we even, let me turn this off. So this is the text that we created for the program. Position the door. The other one will later come to it. These ones will come to it later. But I shared a secret with us that one way to you can make this fun is that you can go to the layer of the fonts and change their blend. So right now I have the three of them I've grouped them as one. So instead of changing their blend modes individually, let me just do that with the group. So with the group selected, I go to the blend modes and change it from the normal to overlay. So that gives me this kind of effect in my text. And
Cool.
if you see most of the work that I do that have this kind of effects in the fonts, this is how I achieve it. And if you realize also that this effect was possible because the color of the text was white, the same way we got that light effect over here, the one that Danny was pointing out to, that you created it, I created it with a brush, soft brush with white color and just changed the blend to overlay, is the same thing here. So here the color is white, so if I apply the same blend mode, it's going to give me that kind of feel. And I also mentioned that to bump it up a bit, you can just introduce a drop shadow. So double click on the far right. I hope you know that each and every part of the layer, wherever you click, has its own properties it will bring you. If you double click here, it gives you that double click, or it will give you this. If you go on, I think that there are different aspects. If you click on the group, you're getting these forms of options. If you come to this side, you right click, you're getting another form. If you double click, you're getting a different thing also. So here we came and we enabled the drop shadow. So we already have it on, so that's what we have here. And the drop shadow, I mentioned that normally when I use it, I don't want it to be too obvious that I'm using a drop shadow. So I try to feather it and play it with opacity a bit. Yeah, it shouldn't be too obvious. It was when we were starting first that, we wanted it seemed so good to us to make it obvious. But now that with what you have explained so far, it's really cool to see that. So that was it then. So I think with what we have currently, let me see. What else did we do that I did not touch before we move on? So this is what we have. Yeah. Obviously, I would love for it to be back here. So for now, let me turn off my information and see how best I can start. All right. So introduce my layer max. It wouldn't be bad if you leave it like this, but I think I want to, for now, further it out of the frame. Virtually. All right. Something that I did because I would like to introduce. Let's see something for now. With our images that we have. Sorry. These ones that we got from online. Let's see how best we can use them. I like the fire elements going on there. Let's see, which I think lighting would help. Okay, lighting would help, but I may have to first help it. Let me come. So the way we helped this guy to stand out because of the background, the orange background we created for it, We want to do the same for this this one, the fire image. So let's help it. Would like to create images. Sorry, brush strokes with the amber color. Sorry, it's orange, not amber. Let me give it 100 and change it to overlay. Overlay seems not to work. Okay, let me try color dodge. Okay, I like color dodge. I like what color dodge is doing. Okay, first, I'm having this concept that I want to make like something like the flames form around the main picture that we have here. I want to make the something like flames because we are dealing with faith friendliness. So we want to have some representation of flames going on. So first of all, I would like to create that kind of brightness going on about him. Not too much, but a bit. So I would like to duplicate this. And see. Okay, I think I like Hue. What Hue is doing here. Okay. Let me increase this a bit also. Change it to see. Let me turn it off and bring in white and see how white. Pick the soft light. Increase a duplicate, change it to soft again and see. Add lights. This is not working. Yeah. I don't want it to affect too much everything in the frame. Color dodge. Now let me see if the can find wood. Yeah. So I'm having that. I'm having this going on here. So let me duplicate this. I'll duplicate this as well so that I can flip it and use it on the other side. So I flipped it by Control T to bring the transformation. I right click and I go to flip horizontal. So flip. So at least it's giving a sense of, flames going on there. All right. So I'm seeing some things. Some of the images are part of the images. The image is showing. So I use my max to hide it. Same as this one.
Eben, please, I have a little concern. It's a question.
Okay.
Is it possible that we could make the flame show like an orange, or how fire looks like? Here it looks like white.
Yeah.
It has. Is that the intent?
Yeah, I think I'm cool with this. If I make it orange, it will not be seen because the background is orange.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe possibly unless the background is of a different color, then we
sure.
Because I even love the flame, the colors over here. I would have loved to make sure that they come out. Or if I had more time, I would have done that. So let me turn this on. And possibly maybe you can still go to Control U to bring out the hue and saturation and experiment and see how good that will look. Vanishing. So let's see.
Yes.
I like what this is doing. So I'll leave this one here. like that, and use it a bit to bring out something. Yeah. You see what I wanted to bring out?
Yes,
This aspect of it. So
yeah.
using the marks, I clean out this hard edge that I'm seeing over here. Let's clean it up. So at least we have some representation of fire going on. Okay, let me bring this one in a bit. I can now work on the image to make sure that I can play with the image, make it also quite believable. Let me try a last duplicate of this. Control J, Control T, move it around, and put it here. So now let me come to the image. I have this idea that I want this image to also form part of the flames. It's as though maybe he is in the flame kind of a thing. So the way I would do that, well, someone could do that by still duplicating the image, duplicating it. So right now I'm holding on Alt, I'm clicking and I'm dragging, and still with my hands on the Alt and my hand on the left mouse, I bring it to the top. I can get that kind of effect happening over here. So let's play with it. Let's see.
The man of God is on fire.
So
literally.
Yeah. So we can do some interesting thing over there. But of course, whilst you're still doing this, I'm keeping in mind that I want to make sure that at the end of the day, it doesn't get distracted. So I play with it, still in control of the green screen. So what I can do over here is that I can go to the man of God and do some kind of dispersion effect on him. What I mean by that is that I can, instead of using the round brush to clean out parts, I'll use rather a smoke brush to do that, so that the smoke pattern would have effects. Let me demonstrate. So I have a smoke brush pack in my stuff that I loaded up. So smoke brush, and there are quite a lot of them to choose from. I hardly use it. Like it was back then I was so crazy about these kind of things, but now and it doesn't move me crumble again, except maybe for such rare cases. So right now, I think I have a brush. Unfortunately, you will not be able to see it in the current streaming right now, but you would see it when you have the recording, the brush, the brush size. So let me try and see. So I'm using the brush to do the cleaning. Right click, tilt it a bit. Sorry, the brush was on 100%. Let me do that. 33. And it becomes more believable. It doesn't become too hard cut. I think this is okay, convincing enough. Okay, so I would let me go to the image, this image, and clean the crown aspect, this parts of it, because it's giving the magic away. So I'm still using the smoke effects brush, the smoke brush effects, one of them on it. So I have that. I think it's cool so far. I would like to clean up a bit of this. Sorry. So let me change back my brush to its normal. So I can, let me go back. Soft round brush, the general one. Reduce the size and clean that. Cool. So of course, with what we learned about lighting and all that, we are seeing that there's a whole orange glow light going on, yellow also going on, fire here. That can be happening, and the man of God's image will not be affected also. I would want to create some lightning effect on the image, not really a big kind of lighting effect, but something a bit, but yet convincing. So first for me, I would like to create a rim light around the man of God. First, I would like to create that kind of rim light. Okay. Now, with what I showed us during the first practical, you could easily do that by holding on your control, going to the image, then you click to make sure that you have your selection active. All right, so I hit on the control, and with that, I have selected the image, but I can do something cool. I'm about doing something cooler to help me get what I need to get. So with this selected, what I'll do is that I will go and create a new layer on top, and I'll fill it in with white. I'll fill it in with white. So Control Alt, sorry, I didn't Control Alt backspace, sorry. Alt backspace is what is on here. So I just fill that in. Then what I will do is that I will go to select, come to modify, then go to contract. When I select contract helps me to, like the word is saying, contract my selection. You have other options like expand or sorry, it's grayed out here. So with this, I would like to contract my selection by 2 pixels. Okay, and see 2 is too small. Let me contract it again by an additional 3. Enter. Let me add another 2 to it. So, all right, it is okay. So now what I would do with this contracted selection is that I'll use this to cut out what I have here in my selection. So when I just hit backspace, I've cut it out.
Yeah.
Control D to deselect, and I have my rim light of the man of God. Now I'll move on to clipping it to the image. So Alt, then I clip it to. Should I go back or?
No, just a little back. How the images, the commands you used, I think it skipped me.
Which one? To get which one?
Oh, after you contrasted the.
Oh, okay.
The ants, the matching ants.
Okay.
Okay, so from here, yeah.
All right. So to delete or to cut out, use the selection to cut out this particular layer. It's just backspace or even delete on the keyboard.
Oh,
okay. Delete or backspace.
Thank you.
So Control D to deselect the selection. All right. So now I would clip it to the image. So holding on Alt, I bring my mouse in between the layers and I click. So it clips into the image. Now what I'll do now is that with what we have currently is too sharp and it's too, rough. So what I'll do is I'll go to filter and I'll go to blur, then Gaussian blur. Then I'll blur it a bit. So I think this, leaving this blend 5.2 is okay. So I'll just hit on OK. Then what I'll do here as a touch, final touch, is to change the blend mode from normal to overlay.
Oh, nice. Bro, this is magic. For real. Hey, all these things are inside Photoshop.
Yeah, it's a tool, depending on how it's used.
Hey. Wow. Okay, Charlie, my mind is blown, like for real. Hey.
Glad to hear. So another step that I can bring in, remember we talked about lightening in the environment. So we have a neutrally lit image over here, but it has yellowish orange lights coming in. This is yellow coming in, orange coming in here. So to make it more believable, I would add some kind of reflection of this light in the skin, and possibly some from here also on the skin to make it believable. How do I do that? I come on the image and I create another layer on top of in between this these layers, the rim light and the image. So selecting the image, I hit on create new layer. I create a new layer. Then like we create like we did for the other lights, lighting effects over here. I hit on my brush, select my color. Because I want to reflect this out, I can just easily color pick this. So select this, hit on OK, and increase my opacity to 100. Then I click on it. So now this is created. I change the blend mode again to some color that would be more reflective. So I think lightning. Let me select lighting and position it, and we'll come and work on it. So Control T to bring out this, size it a bit, send it to that side, work on, yeah. So we have a representation of the light here working on the skin. So let me see if any other color, soft light would have worked by this here. I think pen light is working here. Pen light should be working. I think the rest will help. Let me think which lighting, let me try. Okay, first let me change the color of this for now. Let me see. Control U. Let me colorize. Increase my saturation and turn this to maybe orange. And see. Increase the lightness. I'm monitoring the color change over here to make my decision. Yeah. So from this to that, I think let me maintain this a bit for now and reduce opacity. Then do the second one again. So I come here, select my brush, color pick. I'm holding on I to color pick for the eyedropper too. So I color pick this.
Yeah.
And I pick that. So yeah. Let me go to screen. So yeah, okay, let me just reduce the opacity a bit. So we have that going on there. I would really have loved this one to be really red. Let me try something. Screen. I think I like this. Now, in this case, I want the thing to flow on his shoulders, but I'm only getting the vertical stuff. So I can come to this option here of the transform tool.
Yeah.
I can come to this option here of the transform tool, the warp selection, and I select it, and that would help me to be able to warp this at least to a good and appreciable extent. So hit on OK. I have that already. Cool. And I think my final touch on this is that now I can create, I would like to create a curve. I would like to introduce a curve layer, curves layer. And that will also be clipped into the image layer. Now with the curves, what I want to do with it, or what I want it to help me do, is to play with the reds. So I come down to the reds, select the reds, and I select a point, the middle point, and pimp it up some more. What I'm doing is I'm increasing the warmth of the image. So if I send it to the extreme, you see what happens. I just increase it a bit. So that
it makes sense. It makes sense that you're adding warmth to it because the man is already on fire.
So
imagine being on fire and cold.
Yeah. So let me turn off. I think I'm seeing some effects here still playing out on his lips. So let me take this off. So at least we have something like that going on. Yeah, I think this is cool. Let me group the layers that are related to the image. Control G. Let me name it as IMG for image. And let me select it together with the fire images. Control T. Let me move it about a bit. So I think they are those behind. Yeah. Let me try and move these ones beyond the texture, this pattern layer, and see the effect. I think I'll like this because it reduces the level of distraction. Remember. So with this one selected, the image, this and that, Control T, I move it about a bit. Just to position it, I want to make sure I get my center right. And this should be okay. Let me reduce it. Enter. I think we are good to go as of this point. Yeah. Good to go. All right. So from the looks of things, I don't think we are going to use these guys again.
Oh, but can't we add the lion just at the corner of the?
Then to be a particular kind of lion, not this particular guy. The lions that we got, they are not really, they don't work. They wouldn't add up. I can also do it on the side like this. The distraction will be too much. Because currently, as I'm seeing this, I'm seeing it becoming it's almost getting to a bit becoming too much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit too much. So mostly when I get to some of these stages, what I do is that at times in my works, I can add a lot of things to it, but I have a way of just toning it down, either with opacity or something. I tone it down so that it doesn't disturb. So for what you are seeing here, we can still play, but adding in elements, but they wouldn't be too much obvious. So I have the fire sparks over here, this image. So I turn it to screen. At least we are having fire player. Let me see if it would play out well. Let me add this. Let me put that down here. So I have these ones already then this also. At least for now. I don't think I would like to add this. It's too big and blurry.
Yeah.
Nah. Really. Nah. Really. Roll call. Nah. Really. Okay. So let me bring my text and see how we can now work on it. So I think I would like to push the composition up. So the image, this, and the globe, I want to bring it up a bit. So when I select this, the image, this globes all the way down here. There's 3. This should be okay. Control T. Holding on Shift, I move a bit. Okay, let me not use Shift for now. So let me move, then hold on Shift. Okay, so I didn't select the globe. Control T. And let me just simply use my up arrow key. Hit enter. So come down to the globe and increase it a bit so that it doesn't leave that gap down there. As it is now, I can't use the font with this effect anymore because it's not helping to be visible. So I go to its original state, pass through. Let me work with the shadows. Bring the shadow. Increase. Hey, this thing we don't teach of in class. Control S. We have been working since we began. Control S. So I think we can quickly move on to bringing or working on this other guys. So let me steal the logo and all the information, those things. Let me Control G it, add it to the text layer. Double click to bring in the color, overlay color. Select white. Okay. Why I use that? Why are you under? Okay. This is free. Oh, I need to learn white color. Okay, sorry. Opacity. So of recent times.
Please, were you the one who designed the logo?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay.
I think it would be good. I think it would be good if I send it up for this particular composition. Yeah. Why? Because the top is become empty. I think I'll go for a bolder font style for this particular one because of what we have gotten to. Let me try. I don't really like this slab. Back to my Montserrat. When it gets to this point, I just like, and I don't want to waste time, thinking.
Yeah. I understand.
Result. Let me go back. Let me send these guys back. I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling. Bible talked about this hierarchy.
Yeah.
So a cool thing I can do over here, just to play, doing something simple, but that touch makes it it brings a difference. Okay, is that over here? I want to hide the conference behind the globe. I want to hide the conference behind the globe. Now, one way you can do that easily, of course, is introduce your marks, and you use your brush to do your what's the name? Your cleaning. But that may be too some way. So sorry. In such cases, when I want to get a definite thing, what I do is that I intentionally work with the mark. I intentionally create the selection part. So when you come to the marquee tools, the rectangular ellipse, you will not be able to get that gap. So what I do in this case is that I use the pen tool or the bezier tool. Yeah, so they call it that. So the pen tool, then I come, like I want to crop and define the edges. Right click, make selection. Okay. So I already have my stuff created. So with this, I just fill it in with black because black hides alt black. Then I hide it. Now this is too sharp for it to be convincing. So from here, what I do is that I will take my brush and then reduce the opacity to let's say 20. Then do the what's the name? It gives it that kind of brush. Give it that shadow behind it. I just like it. A machine like at least something to make it bit convincing. So it's behind. So that gives room for other informations to be put there. So let me go on and introduce the man of God. Like this. duplicate it, Control J.
Yeah.
Select, change it. So I have this font. Well, you could leave it here and turn it into a light form, which isn't bad. But I normally have this script font, Allison Tessa, that you can use.
Oh, thank you.
So with this, I normally like. Please come again. You're about saying something.
Have you heard the suavity before? It's also.
Is that the name again? If you can type it in the chat.
The suavity. The suavity.
Okay.
I'll type it. I'll type it in there.
Right. That's it. The shadow is behind. So let me take it back. Over here, we can still play by now to be too much color. So let me delete this. So for what I'm seeing, let me introduce some dark shades over here and see. It will help me because I need the text to also stand out. So let me duplicate this gradient layer we created, Ctrl J, 10 of the previous one for now. Just let's go back. So I think I've gotten some cool ideas on what else.
I like the green one. I like the green you just added here.
The green down here.
Has it been there all this while? Yeah. Has it been there all this? No, I think it was light blue.
Yeah, it was light blue.
And you changed. Yeah. I like the green.
I think even let me make it a bit deeper so that it matches with this. With this, then you can add other elements that I think an idea has come in mind, and I would like to experiment that. I would like to bring in some kind of filters to play, and let me select the original, this background here. Go to filter gallery. Yeah. So I think some time back I was exploring with hatches. I like the cross hatch effect going on.
Okay.
This may be too strong. This one. Let me have to push the edges to. It's okay. Get some effects in the background there. So we can go with the direct to make it more thicker. That one was too much. So with this done, I can just select, double click on this option here. It will open the opacity option of the filter. It will open the opacity level of the filter, and I can just reduce it a bit. So I think this so far that we have done is good in terms of applying the background stuff that we discussed so far. So I think you could do maybe final adjustments if you need be, but I think so far this is cool. So normally when I finish, what I do is that like I mentioned, I start doing my groupings. I group my stuff all in one. So this should be my background. I would label these guys. Let me see. Now, let me bring it so it hides the dark stuff going on here a bit. Let me label this as light. I have my image over here. This is supposed to affect the image, so let me bring it here. And this also goes to the background, so let me take it back. Yeah. And my curves also affect it doesn't affect anything. So just delete it for now. These are my informations. And I think I can even bring in this one under this umbrella. No, it hides it, sorry. This guy is benefiting from shadows. So let me take the shadows and apply to all of them. Increase it a bit. No, it wouldn't work. Let me do, I think I might leave it like that. But, so I think, yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Please, if you are doing this work alone, assuming you are not teaching anyone, how long does it often take you to finish a project like this?
For something like this, it should be about like an hour.
An hour?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's too much.
I was expecting something like 6 hours, 7 hours.
Oh, okay. Those, no. Yeah. So we have the logo right. So I'm noticing disturbance going on here. So what I'll do as a touch up is that over here, I'll take a screenshot of the whole work. So Control Shift Alt E, create that, I right click, get it into a smart object, go to filter, like we did the other time, filter gallery, iris blur. So unfortunately, this time Iris Blur did not help. My machine did not help me to get the controls. I don't know if it happens to you sometimes though. So I can just reduce this a bit. Go hit OK. Clean the part that I think clean it out, bring it out into the open, and leave the rest in the blur. Then I just introduce back my stuff again. I think that the shadow should come a bit down. Yeah. That doesn't interfere too much. So that should be cool. Even with this, we can doing this, we could play with the let's leave it there so that it doesn't really bother us. So officially, this is what it is. So I've blurred the surroundings to keep focus on the main subject of the matter. What I can further do is that I can take a screenshot of the whole thing, Control, Shift, Alt, E, right click, turn it into a smart object, Control A to bring up my camera raw. Let me work on the contrast and I'm done with that. My camera raw is still loading.
Camera raw.
Over here, let me bring in my blacks a bit. Let me see, I'm just trying to see that my contrast would be helpful. All right. Sometimes I come to the color mixer and I just adjust this and see what other stuff we get from this.
But your line is breaking. Oh.
Yeah. I don't think I'll touch anything. So I think so far this is okay. So all I did was I just went and I zeroed. I didn't touch on any other stuff than what you saw. So why I maintained it to 0, 0, 0. So it was only the shadows that I just worked on. That's all. Right. So I just saw something I just want to correct quickly. So let me just clear this out. Yes. That's a bit disturbing from afar. I think even now you can see my brush.
Yeah.
Don't know why it was not showing. Yeah, that time. All right, so I think this is okay. So like I did come to this top layer, Control Shift Alt E, create smart objects, transfer this one's blur to it, delete that one, turn on my folders, Control Shift Alt E, convert to smart objects, and share that property here. And that's it. So save. And we are for now so far for in terms of working with backgrounds or something like that. I think this is how far. I think it's cool. So